But the reality is at some point or another, we've all become a part of the crowd. We've all found ourselves not leading, and now I find myself participating. So I want to give you, here's the scripture that we've used all month long. I want us to read it together. I want you to see here. Luke chapter 9, verse 23 and 25. This is Jesus speaking. Then he said to the crowd, if any of you wants to follow me, if any of you wants to be my follower, you must give up your own way. Take up your cross daily and follow me. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will save it. In what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but are yourself lost and destroyed? Like, this is a very powerful statement that this is what we've said all month long, because Jesus is talking to the crowds. Because Jesus knew early on the crowds are following him simply because what they can get from him, not just to be there with him. So Jesus has this very sharp language, and he's like, hey, why are you following me? Because if you really want to follow me, understand, here's the requirements for those who want to say, I'm with JC. Oh, you really want to follow Jesus? Understand the cross that I'm about to bear, you got to pick it up yourself. Immediately right there, and people start tapping out. I'm okay. Because that's a hard ask. It's a hard ask to step out of the crowd because it's easy at times to kind of slip in because I can go unnoticed. But being a follower of Jesus, he says this, I'm asking you to step out of the crowd. I'm asking you to be noticed. And for the introverts like me, you're like, no, I don't want to be noticed because then I have an awkward conversation with somebody. And then I'm afraid I'm going to have like word vomit. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't even want to have this conversation with them because I don't like people. And Jesus is like, word, I get it. But if you want to follow me, I'm asking you to deny your feelings and what you think and what you've identified with. Pick up my cross and identify with me and watch me empower you. And watch me enable you to do the things that you thought were impossible in you. Because we get so distracted and attracted to the crowd and what they're doing. And I feel like I got FOMO and I'm missing out. And Jesus is like, no, you ain't missing out. I'm saving you. I'm protecting you. Because if you follow the crowd, you'll be a victim of the crowd. But if you can isolate from the crowd and follow me, you'll receive the giftings that I want to give you. Because here's the reality. Jesus is saying, I'm the way, I'm the truth, and I'm the life. No one can get to the Father but through me. And the only way that we can really understand and grasp that is realizing I can't be a crowd pleaser, but I have to be a pleaser of one, and that's Jesus. A few years ago when Jessica and I had the opportunity to get away on a vacation, we had just checked in, we're looking at the view, and we're like, oh man, this is amazing. This is beautiful. And we're sitting down on the couch. I'm starting to surf the TV, be like, oh man, what's on? Cable here, is it any different than where I'm from home? It's not, just so you know. Then we hear the alarm go off, and we look at each other, and we're like, is this for real? Because this is like a resort, like this is a nice place. I'm like, it's got to be like a fire alarm, because I'm thinking of like 12-year-old Brandon in school where they did the fire alarms and the alarm test. So I'm like, it's not real. And then we look outside, and there's like people in the parking lot. And we see the fire trucks, and we're like, oh, we should go. Husbands, listen to your wives. Because my rationale is like we would see the fire. Like, someone just hit the fire alarm being silly, right? Because it happens all the time. So I'm like, just stay, it'll go off. And she's like, but what if it doesn't? What if you're wrong? And then it hits me, I've been wrong so many times. I probably should listen to her. But the stubbornness of me was like, but we just got here. I just got comfy because this place is nice. And at that moment, I decided, let's just be passive. It'll stop. But here's the wisdom of my wife. No, we need to go. We need to go. She opens the door, and I kid you not. She opens the door. In the hallway, there's so many people. In the hallway, they're like, what do we do? What do we do? And here comes my wife. Oh, we need to go this way, guys. And I'm like, what way? We just decided we were leaving the room. I was going to stay. And now you're saying, this is the way that we got to go. And everyone, joke you not, everyone starts following my wife. I'm standing in the doorway of our room as she leads them out the security exit, and I'm counting 1, 2, 3. And I'm still standing here. I'm like, what is going on? Why does she become like Captain America out of nowhere? And everyone's like, yeah, we should trust this white blonde head girl because she obviously knows where she's going. She had no idea where she was going. We're walking down stairways. And we're just going. I'm like, this is the longest stairwell I've ever been in my life. And it hits me. We're like 8 floors up. And I'm like, why didn't we try the elevator? That would have been nice. We keep following, and we come to a place now where she can turn right or she can turn left. In the right, there's a door that says exit. Jessica looks, and she sees a kitchen, and she's like, it's this way. Everyone follows her in the kitchen. And I'm like, exit. Like, no joke, they're prepping meals and everything, and they're flipping fish, and she's just like, how do you do? Hi. And at that moment, all the people in the hallway were like, she has no idea where she's going. One dude put his hand on, he's like, I'm so sorry. I apologize. We followed the white girl. I'm laughing because I'm like, this is the best story that I'm ever going to tell people. We end up in a car garage, and not like at the bottom, like we're like 3 floors up, and everyone's like, girl, where are you going? We follow you. She's like, just a little longer. And then we walk all the way around the park, finally to the front. I tell you this story simply this. There's times in your life you have to give God permission to lead you, even if it doesn't serve you. Bless her heart, she took the long way. But she got us there. You will question why God leads you the long way. But on the way, we discovered the best story that happened years ago that I hold in my heart, because it was at that moment I looked at my wife and said, you've been passive your whole life, but there is leadership on you. That when fires and trials come, you stand the test and you take charge. You may have taken us way out of our way, but girl, people have told you that you are supposed to be on the back side, that you're supposed to be on the sidelines, but there's something in you that said, I can't stand there. I have to go. Don't question the long way. And don't question, why does this not serve me? And this right here is what disqualifies a lot of us, because we can feel the calling of God. I can feel the prodding of God in my life. But it don't serve me. And if it doesn't serve me, I'm good. Because it's our constant need for comfort. It's our constant need of me that I have to be not just the narrator, I got to be the star. And let's just be honest. Some of us, we're not even that prideful. But some of us are, if I don't get something off my investment, I'm not in it. And that's a part of just growing up in the United States, in the Western world, kind of the greed that we have. You call me greedy, PB? Why did I come to this church? You call me greedy. No, but I'm just talking to you about our society and our heart, if we're really honest. If I'm not being served, because some of us our whole life have been overlooked, we've been an afterthought. And at this point, I've convinced myself it's about me. It's my time. I got to protect me and my mind and my heart. And God, if you are not going to serve me, I'm out. But the Holy Spirit this morning in this series is asking you honestly this. You need to give me permission of your life, even if in this season and right now it's not serving you, but it's serving someone else. Because honestly, comfort is this. Comfort is staying when God is calling you to move. And I'm so guilty of planting myself down, and I stayed put. We used the illustration last week of getting in our comfy chair. And I can give you all the excuses in the world of why I want to stay in my comfy chair. Because I work hard and I'm a hard worker. I pull in 60 hours a week. Get off me. But I have made a destination of somewhere that was supposed to be a pit stop. I've called something home when God said you're supposed to just be passing through. Comfort is staying when God has called you to move. And what do I mean about calling? Here at Promise Go, y'all, we are unapologetically forward about this. We believe that God has a calling on your life, that you were created on purpose. Oh, thank you so much. That just made me so happy. I felt that in my toes. But we believe this because Jesus said this. And we're going to run with it. Be mad at me all you want. But the one thing I'll never apologize and stop telling you is God created you for a purpose, and there's a calling on your life. There's a calling on your life. If you don't hear anything else I say, this chubby bearded dude with the mic, I want you to hear the chubby bearded dude right now. There's a calling on your life. God loves you. He's so in love with you. It doesn't matter what's happened to you. It doesn't matter what you feel right now. The reality is the Word of God says this, that He loves you, He's adoring you, and He's got a calling on your life. And nothing disqualifies you from the calling. He loves you, He loves you, He loves you. But I believe this morning. There are some of us that are living this life in a state of dissatisfaction. I can't get no. Thank you so much. Because I wasn't going to sing anymore because I suck at singing. What's going on this month? I'm like jukebox. They're just coming out of me. But I can't get no. Like, I can't get it. I can't get it. I can't get it. And I'm trying, and I'm trying, and I'm trying, and I'm trying, and I'm still living in a place where I am not satisfied. Well, here's why I want to preach a little bit this morning. Can I talk to you a little bit this morning? I want you to know this. Comfort does not equal freedom. I've been living in comfort. I've been doing it my way. And I've been trying to find the sense of freedom. But satisfaction doesn't come from pleasing me. It doesn't mean that pleasure doesn't feel good. I'll get there. But pleasure can feel good, and I'm still empty because I keep going back for more, and it doesn't fulfill me. It doesn't sustain me. Oh, PB, if you only knew. Trust me, I probably do. But because I do, I know that I'm still hungry. And I'm so hungry, I keep eating more. And I keep going back to the place that I thought I would never go back before. And I've used the excuses of why I keep going back and why I keep tasting it, why I keep experiencing it. But the reality is I feel like I need to have more of it in my life and more frequently and more often because it does not sustain me. The truth is this, there are people who are constantly living a life where suffering in the silence and nobody knows about it. Because I'm really not honest with you about how dissatisfied I am with my life. I'm not open about it. So I'll suffer in silence. And I'm hiding my weakness. I'm hiding my weakness from those who are close with me. Only ever once in a while do I give them a crack and do I give them an opening into how my life is really going and how I'm really feeling. I'm hiding my secrets. And if I'm being honest with you in the room today, you think you're hiding it, but really it's just a bad game of hide and go seek. It's a bad game of peekaboo. Peekaboo, you see me. Peekaboo, you don't. But the reality is when you walk in the room, people know, man, something's not right. Something is going on because we're trying to chase freedom with comfort. We want to be happy, but we ain't. I want to try to pretend that I'm happy and I'm satisfied and I got everything figured out, but the reality is I ain't. And the more things that I try to put in my life and the more things that I try to run to, the substances, the people, the things, and PB, I'm just not satisfied. Because really it's the approval of our own voice that we're trying to constantly chase. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay you do this. No one can judge you. It's okay. I'm chasing my own comfort. Or it's the voice of the crowd of the people that I surrounded myself with. Pleasing the crowd is killing my calling. Pleasing the voices is killing my calling. Pleasing the crowd, Promise Co, it's killing you. But here's the thing, I love the crowd when I'm at the club. I love it. They hyping me up. Yeah, it's 12 o'clock. You got kids at home. It don't matter. I feel it. You got to be up tomorrow at 6 a.m. Hey, who you talking to? Because I didn't hear a word you just said because I feel it. Amen. There's times when I love the crowd. But when I go to Disney World, I hate the crowd. This line is too long. I've been sweating for way too long. But then again, I fall back in love with the crowd because the crowd's the one that makes me tipsy and it makes me forget about everything that's going on in my life. But it's the same crowd that cheered you on, but will also leave you and crucify you on a cross. Have you ever been a place in your life, specifically on Interstate 35, and you start seeing brake lights, and you start saying naughty words because no one's in the car with you, and then you see the orange cones, and you're like, yep, I'm going to be here for a while. See, I discovered when I moved to Texas, people in Texas create their own off-ramps. What do I mean by that? They just go out in the middle of the road and go to the access road. First time I seen that, I'm like, where's the cops? Commercial. Where is the cops on I-35? Like, they're never there. We'll leave that there. But see, I seen it happen so much. I started doing it myself. Because I'm like, this is a cheat code in the game. This is awesome. But the problem is, I start talking crazy when I'm stuck in traffic. I got a problem, okay? I'm still praying about it. Jesus is still working on me. But it's called road rage. It's not okay. Because when I get in that car and people get crazy, I get crazy. I start saying things that are kind of rude. I say things like, why can't people drive? They just giving anybody a license anymore these days. What's going on? I start saying things like this when I've sat here for 2.5 hours and then I realize the accident's not even in my lane. It's over there. Oh, then I really get hot. I say things like this. Why y'all rubbernecking? What does that even mean? Okay, I don't know if that's a southern term. That was definitely a northern term. Because everyone's driving and So I start screaming, why is everybody rubbernecking? Oh, the thing that really ticks me off in construction zones is when everyone starts slamming on their brakes and they don't even need to. I start saying things like this, and really, God forgive me that I even say these things. But I start screaming, stop riding your brakes, Grandma. What are you doing? And it's like a 16-year-old dude. I'm spewing all this just frustration, and I'm mad. And I start hearing this voice. In the name of Jesus, Father God, right now, I pray for my husband. Lord, that he would receive your Holy Spirit. And I feel a hand grab my arm, and it says, hubby, repeat after me, dear Jesus, I give my heart to you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, you need Jesus. I'm like, they need Jesus. Like, I wish I was joking, but I'm absolutely 100% I'm not. But listen. What does that have to do with anything? One, I want to make you laugh. But number two, the accident doesn't have to be in my lane to cripple my calling. I've allowed something that had nothing to do with me cripple me and start allowing an identity that is not me to be manifested in a car. What if there's little voices in the backseat that begin to hear the words coming out of my mouth? And then I hear them saying 4 little words. I'm like, where'd you hear that from? Daddy. I ain't talking to none of you in the room at all, am I? The accident doesn't have to be my lane to cripple my calling. Why does the distraction cause anger in you, Brandon? Why is the distraction leading you to the place of dissatisfaction with your life? I should have went somewhere else. I should have went a different way. Or maybe you're right where you're supposed to be. Maybe, don't read too far into this. You're saying, oh, for every accident, God allows it for my life to slow down. No. But maybe when life slows down and you're frustrated and you feeling like you're not where you're supposed to be and I'm not successful enough, maybe, just maybe, it's not something that you're doing necessarily wrong, but maybe God is putting the brakes on your life, and he's asking you, why if you put your hopes and your dreams in something that you think will gratify yourself other than me? I get to the place where I have no mercy for people. I just got rage. No, you cannot merge in my lane. Get out. I'm one of them people. You have signaled for like 3 minutes. I seen you. No, you can't get my lane. You could have got my lane like 5 miles back. Brother, why are you treating people? You going the same way. And you're going to be traveling for 80 miles. Why are you so distracted? Buddy, why are you so dissatisfied with life? You become so enraged that everybody else around you has to pay the price. Why are we allowing the actions of other people move you into sin? Why am I allowing the actions of other people that I don't even know? They in their lane, I'm in my lane. We ain't getting off of the same exit, but I have allowed you to manipulate how I feel to cause me to be dissatisfied. In the Old Testament, there's a guy by the name of Samson. Samson can identify with this. Absolutely. Samson was born with favor on his life. He was born with calling on his life. So much so, God told his mom and dad, don't you ever cut that boy's hair. He's going to eat a certain way. He's going to live life a certain way. This dude's going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger before there was ever an Arnold Schwarzenegger. This dude's going to be bad. He's going to be awesome. Samson got to the place where he lived this life, and it was holy. It was set apart. He didn't follow the crowd until one day, little Miss Thing started looking his way, and he began to fall in love with a woman. Here's the thing. Who was the enemy? Mom and Dad, I know I shouldn't even be flirting with them. I know that I shouldn't even be talking with her, but go get her, let her be my wife. And his mom and dad was like, bro, why don't you stay with the church folk who love Jesus? Oh, but because I can win her to Jesus. Never works. Mom and Daddy, I can win her to Jesus. She's going to be good. She'll be a good girl. So he gets married. And then what's followed up? Divorce by force. We find that Samson gets this anger from a distraction, and it caused him to run away from the thing that he was so hungry to run towards. People who were so-called friends were like, man, he's given me this riddle. He wants us to find it out at the wedding party. If you're really our people, if you're really our friends, you will have him give us the answer. She begins to listen to the crowd, and the crowd is in her ear, and then she begins to get into the ear of Samson. And I'm following the crowd versus following the calling that God has put on my life. Did you know 60% of marriages lead to divorce because of poor communication? Something happened where instead of fixing the problem with his wife, Samson runs away. He avoids the problem. And then he finds a situation where he says, oh, after all this time of being away, let me go fix my marriage, let me go fix my wife. And he finds that his wife is married to another man. Oh, no, he didn't. The story gets worse because he gets angry and he gets some road rage. He acts out. He says, I'm going to burn all your food. I'm going to burn all your crops. They said, oh, you're going to do that? We're going to kill your ex-daddy-in-law, and we're going to kill your ex-wife. Simply because of poor communication, the problem caused blood to spill. Can I just be with you guys for the next few minutes on this? I want to talk to some relationships today. In the New Testament, we find there was a woman with an issue of blood for 7 years. She spent all that she had, and it kept bleeding, and it kept bleeding, and it kept bleeding. They tried to address the blood, but they never tried to address the brokenness. Communication breaks down where we won't talk about the brokenness in our life. And some of us are in new relationships, and we find ourselves bleeding out on the new relationship from the injuries of the old relationship. And I found out in my life the problem is wherever I go, I got to take me. Wherever you go, you got to take me. I can easily sit in a position where I'm blaming everybody else for the blood and the wounds in my life, but the reality is I got to be there. See, Samson went and found him someone new. Samson realized maybe the problem isn't everybody that I'm hooking up with. Maybe the problem is me. Judges chapter 16, verses 4-6 says this. Sometime later, Samson fell in love with a woman named Delilah who lived in the valley of Sorek. The rulers of the Philistines went to ask her and said, entice Samson to tell you what makes him so strong and how he can be overpowered. Tied up securely, then each of us will give you 1,100 pieces of silver. So Delilah said to Samson, hey, baby, please tell me what makes you so strong. Hey, baby, what is it that would take you to tie you up so securely? Because you'd be busted out of everything. What? Baby, tell me how I can tie you up. Listen, she kinky, okay? Let's just be honest. She weird. That is a weird question. Hey, you think that's weird? Go back 2 weeks. Go back on YouTube. We titled a message, You Can't Be Freaky and Try to Be Faithful. And that's what's going on here. The Bible can be a dark place. God can use people who make extremely bad decisions. And in the story, can I be honest with you, the church a lot of times look at Delilah and we try to make her like this evil witch, this evil villain of the story. But yet Samson had already failed a marriage. He already had misplaced trust. Samson lived a life where there was already blood on his hands. And Delilah's the villain? Delilah's just living her life. Because we find the same situation. Samson's going back to a group of people that God said, don't do it. Don't go there. Stop going back to the comfort and the comfy and live the calling that I've lived in your life. And he's like, I'm good. Because I need something that's going to satisfy me. We find what Samson actually doing in his life. I don't think he's doing anything different than what Brandon would do in his own life. Or some of us in the room. What's Samson doing? Samson found himself self-medicating with the power of love. Oh, come on, somebody. Some of us been drinking that for a long time. And I'm consumed with it because I've been following my heart and it's leading me. Don't need money. Don't need fame. I don't need credit cards to ride this train. I'm stuck with the power of love, baby. We can do anything. We can go anywhere because I love you. I love you. Yeah, you're going to find yourself poor and miserable and divorced because love will never put food on the table. Love will never keep you together. It doesn't work that way. Samson found himself self-medicating with the power of love. He starts masking what's really going on the inside of his life. And I think some of us in the room, we become self-medicated with a painkiller that is masking the real pain that's going on, the real wounds of my life. And the only way that it can get fixed is actually by stop medicating yourself. And I got to stop medicating myself because if you're medicating what you need, you're actually covering the miracle that God is wanting to intervene in your life. God, why don't you heal it? He's like, why don't you reveal it? Why don't you let me see it? You're medicating what needs a miracle. You're holding on to a problem that God is asking us to release. God is asking Samson, why don't you let me find you the perfect match? Why don't you let me bring her to you? No, God, I'm good. I'm really good at picking matches myself. No, you ain't. But see, some of us are like Samson. We're holding on to relationships that look real, but they're nothing but counterfeit. Explain that to me, PB. I'm so glad you asked me to. I'll tell you. Not too long ago, it was years ago, I find myself in New York City, and I found this amazing opportunity to buy Jess a Louis Vuitton purse. I'm like, this is such a good deal. This is an amazing deal. It's so good. I'm like, I'm going to buy her 3. This is such a good deal. They looked visually amazing. They looked the part. I was so happy all the way home. I'm like, girl, she gonna love me. I got so many brownie points. Like I was doing a jig and everything. I'm like, man, I'm the best husband. I'm the best husband. I'm the best husband. They had the look. But what I didn't realize is when I put them in their hand, she looks at me. She's like, you know they're fake. What? They fake. She's like, how much you pay? I got a good deal. She's like, what deal did you get? There was like 3 for $75. She's like, you didn't think that was weird? To you, I'm like, it's New York. I got him on the black market. Really? His name was Fred, and it was in a dark area. She's like, hubby, that's not the same at all. The reality is they didn't hold the value. And when it's not real and it's a counterfeit, it'll never hold up. Do you think she still has them? No. Not at all. You think she brought them out in front of people to say, oh, look what my hubby got me? Not at all. Where did they go? The back of the closet to hide them. We got relationships that have the visual evidence that looks real, but the honesty is there's no substance there. It wears out. We keep it away from people who have touched it and they know the real thing. We know and they know as soon as they see it, they're going to spot it. So we try to hide it from them so that they don't see it. And we're no longer even attracted to it. But the reality is it's available and it's there. Comfort and convenience will always do this in our life. It'll leave you compromised, just like it left Samson. Open and available, absolutely, but it left him in a state that was compromised. I'm running around with people that wants to keep me broke. That's the reality of my comfort. They want to keep me full of self-doubt and anxiety, and I'm riddled with depression. Why? Because I'm running with conversations, I'm running in relationships that really aren't real. Most of the conveniences, most of the convenient relationships, guess where we plate them in our life? Really, they're more conveniently behind closed doors in my life. Because then when I come out behind those closed doors and I start walking around some other people who actually really know me, they're like this, but why are you acting so weird? I notice when you're with these people, you acting really weird. Why are you acting weird? You grabbing your phone and all suspicious. You so sus. Why you act weird when that person calls you? Why are you acting weird that person texts you? And I'm sitting here and I'm begging God, why won't you deliver me? But I keep inviting them back into my life day in and day out, day in and day out. Here's the facts, y'all. You can't be that close with somebody without wanting to create something more in your life. Oh, we just be praying. We just be playing. It's just a thing. No, you not be praying. You're not trying to be super spiritual. Stop trying to fake it. You be playing. Baby, I just needed a massage and one thing led to another. But what's he talking about today? Man, I'm just trying to be real with you. I get to a place where I'm so comfortable with people. And I start thinking things, and I start doing things. And I'm like, God, how have I gotten to the place where I don't even know how I got here? Because here's the thing, God has created you and me to have a desire of comfort and intimacy. There are some of us who are stuck in a place of comfort because really what you were seeking was intimacy. And I found out there's no depth here. It's just a counterfeit. The desire isn't wrong. It's where I'm searching for my desire. I'm settling for convenience over covenant. I'm settling for convenience over the calling that's on my life. Connection with no covenant equals this: I'm reproducing with no care in my life. Just hold on. I got some notes I want you to take today. Connection with no covenant, with no calling, equals reproducing with no care. We find ourselves right now, we're reproducing with no responsibility. We are living in a fatherless generation. Let me give you some stats. 1 out of 4 kids have daddies that have reproduced and didn't give them any type of identity. 18.3 million kids live with no dad in the home today. Why? Why is this a thing? Because if you live without covenant, someone or something goes without care. Do you hear me this morning? Promise go. Just screaming and just having this place in my life where I'm asking breakthrough. God, I need you to have breakthrough in my life. But the reality is this: God is saying, I need you to take some ownership in your life. Because we playing with pacifier and laying on the heads of laps of destruction. God, help me. I'm living a life of immaturity, spiritually immature. And God is saying, there's a time and season for all things. But why are you running back to the pacifier? Why are you running back to a life that you've grown out of so long ago? We can't be committed to the comfort of immaturity, yet I'm asking God for blessings. God, it'd be really cool if you would just move in my life. Okay, there's someone I need you to shoot a text. There's someone I need you to call because they're really struggling. You can encourage them. Nah. God, I really need you to favor me in my finances right now. Okay. But first, there's someone I'm asking you to go buy them some groceries and some food because they be struggling. God, I don't know if I could do that because of this and that. Oh. Steps of faith don't make sense. It's so easier to do this than to grow. But I want to just preach to you guys just for the next few minutes, if you'll just stay with me. The purpose and the calling of your life does not have a pacifier attached to it. Calling is never passive. Calling is always immediate. Here, listen to me. The longer that I'm addicted to the pacifier, the greater the risk of compromise. Why do mom and dads hurry and try to get their kids off of this? So there's some independency, so they can communicate, this is how I feel, this is what I need. But too often, when we complain or where there's a problem, put this in. But the longer that I'm addicted to this, the greater the risk of compromise in my life. Samson kept running back to the woman that kept trying to kill him. Bro, why do you keep running back to her? She keeps trying to take away the calling that's on your life. Oh, because I loveth her. What? The problem is, you'll end up looking like you'll be a 12-year-old still addicted to something that God's called you to grow out of. It's so comforting. It's so soothing. It's weird. Oh, don't tell me my kid's weird. No, I'm telling you, they need to grow. And right now, spiritually in the room today, God is saying he's looking at you and he loves you. He's not judging you, but I'm calling you to grow. Because there's things in your life that I keep being passive about. And God's saying it's time to take the pacifier out and to stand firm and to stand strongly in the calling that I've placed in your life. Judges chapter 16, verse 19. Let's keep going what's going on in the story with Samson. Delilah lulled Samson to sleep with his head in her lap. Come here, baby. Let me run my fingers through your hair. But really, it's fingers of manipulation. And then she called in a man to shave off the 7 locks of his hair. And in this way, she began to bring him down, and his strength left him. This is comfortable. It's soothing. It's my quiet place. But can I tell you what it's really doing in your life? It's killing you. With every application, and every application. Bro, what are you doing? She's trying to kill you because the compromise, the thing that was passive, oh man, the thing that I thought was going to comfort me, the thing that I thought would soothe me, actually becomes the crutch in my life. The thing that I run through, the thing that I thought that I really needed in my life, what did it really actually become in my life? The thing that I thought was just soothing me, no, it's actually compromise. It really becomes the crutch in your life. And I can no longer stand on my 2 feet when time gets rough because I need the crutch. Because the compromise that was in his life, the reality is, it became this. How many of you right now in your life, I can identify this. Some of you, the image or the person or the thing has already come to your mind when you see the crutch. See, something Delilah gave him made him feel like he could just keep going. That's why I keep going back. She's giving me something that I feel like I'm lacking. She's sustaining something in me that I feel like I'm missing. So she became his crutch. The thing that I was crushing on really became the crutch that I'm leaning on. We become infatuated with things that we think we need, but really it's enabling me from becoming who God is calling me to be. I'm leaning on something that's just built and rooted in sinking sand. Why have we become more in love with the crutch than Jesus? What do we find ourselves cuddling up with when life gets hard? Why is the crutch on the verge of being something that no longer is holding me, but now it's something that I'm stumbling over? We said it this way. Does my agenda offend Jesus? And I think a lot of us who are followers of Jesus need to recognize, do I got a crutch in my life? Because I can quote the Bible verses, I can sing the songs, But too often I'm trying to hide my crutch that no one can see because I'm embarrassed. If I'm being honest, I'm dissatisfied. As the praise team comes back up the stage. Here's the one thing that I would like to tell you this morning. I wish Samson heard this advice early on in his life. I want to tell you, be careful of those who you think that you know. Man, be careful of those who you've gotten close with in your life. I mean, I love that God has given us so many families with so many wonderful, amazing kids in our life. And some of them, they just doing their thing. They being kids and they cry and they scream. And we already made this analogy because here's what happens when kids start to cry and they scream. And you're like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And they can't communicate and tell you, so we put the pacifier in. And it soothes them. Because it's the only way that I can get them to calm down. There are people in your life, when you really start to get honest and you're trying to communicate how you feel, you know what they do? They're like, they put this in. Here, put this in your mouth. Just shut up. Oh, you're like, oh, you're trying to soothe me. No, they're trying to elude you. They're trying to ignore you because they really don't know how to help you. And if we're honest, they have no interest in really helping you. Oh, girl, you just need to go out and party. We just need to go get a drink. That's what you need. You need to sit here and get tipsy. You need to have a few glasses of wine, and you'll be okay. But yet we're offering people the last thing they need, but we will not offer them the one that they need. Promise, let me tell you this morning. The devil can touch your calling, but he can never do this. The devil cannot touch your calling, but what he's doing for a lot of people in the room today, he's trying to touch your confidence. We find the crowd and the pressure, and they're asking you to be what you're not. And I find myself when I'm stuck and I'm serving, no one but my interest, that's what I need served, God. And I find myself running from the calling. The pressure to pretend, no, I'm all good. Girl, you ain't all good because there's no one who's all good but God. God is good all the time, right? I can't be God. I think there's an invitation today where God is saying, stop leaning on the crutch and let's just be honest that you're not all good, that you need some help. Because if Pastor Brandon's going to be honest today, there's days that I wake up and I sit here and I say, God, I don't even want to go today. I'm sick and tired of feeling the things that if I'm honest, God, I'm ticked off right now. God, if I'm honest, I'm mad, I'm peed off. I don't want to show up. I don't want to put in the effort. God, I don't even want to get up today. I don't want to give them the things that I know there's this and I know there's that, but God, I don't want to give them my money. I don't want to sit there and solve their problems. Because if I'm honest, there's times I'm afraid. I don't know. What if they see that I'm really vulnerable? What if they see that I don't have it all put together? What if they really see that I'm worried? What if they really see that I'm scared? And God is saying, what if that's exactly what they need to see? What if people that I'm trying to surround you with can be the crutch that I want to put in their life and not the substance and not the things? There's a community of believers that God is saying, I want to bring around you. I want to love on you. And there's a reality. It's not a religion, but it's a relationship that he wants to give you with his son, and his name is Jesus. That he says this, I will stick closer than a brother in your life. But the reality is when I reject those things and I go back to the crush and the crutch, I can find myself blind in chains. The truth is obscure. Morality, I can't define it because I'm so accustomed to being passive and everybody else doing it for me. What's the story of Samson in Judges? Verses 23 through 24, it says this, that the Philistine rulers held a giant festival, offering sacrifices, and they're praising their god Dagon. And they said, our God has given us victory over the enemy Samson. And when the people saw him, they praised their God, saying how our God has delivered our enemy to us. The one who killed so many of us is now in our power. Y'all, they be having a party. They lighting off fireworks. They cutting the cake over the destruction of Samson. They said this, their God has handed Samson over to us. He's our enemy. There's a lot of things that we're looking in our life. We're looking at the political, we're looking at the financial, and we're looking at personal problems, and we think we have it all resolved. If I just vote for the right political party, if I can just get the right job, if I can get my finances figured out, if all my personal problems will come to an end, I can find out that everything is resolved. Yet their torment wasn't Samson. It was their theology. There's a lot of us who are in the room. Your problems aren't the problems staring you in the face. It's my spiritual crutch. I'm leaning on religion and theology, and Jesus is asking you today to grow by leaning simply on Him. Can we stand to our feet today? I want to be so bold in the room today, and I want to just tell someone who's listening, your conflict is more spiritual in nature. We take things for just what they are in front of us, and I'm running into battles, and I'm running my mouth off in my car, and I'm mad at people. And I've never once consulted God. God, where do you want me? God, what are you doing? And I'm making plans that sound good. I'm making plans that feel good. And I've never consulted God. God, where do you want me? God, what do you want to do in this moment? Samson found himself with his eyes completely torn out of his face. He finds himself shackled to pillars, and easily he could have given up. God, is this really what you want from me? But the Bible said in that moment, Samson once again raised his head to the Lord, and he said, remember me, oh God. Even in this moment, would you bring strength once more time to my arms, to my body, and let me be your humble servant. I want to tell someone in the room this morning, it's not your desperation, but it's your deprivation that's going to get the attention of God, and once more will bring the calling on your life face to face with you. It's when you're empty. It's when I'm poured out. It's when I'm coming to the Lord and say, God, I'm tired of doing it myself. I got nothing left. It's when you're at the end of you, and I'm at the beginning of Jesus. Samson was not perfect. Y'all, he was extremely flawed. He wasn't Mr. Christian. To be honest, the church wouldn't even let him in the door. He's not leading no Bible study. He's not teaching your kids and Promise Kids. Yo, we wouldn't even let him on the stage. But in this moment, he emptied himself out, and he called once again, God, I know that I've walked away from the calling, but I just happen to believe even here in my frustration, you will meet me here. Can we close our eyes and bow our heads? I'm done. Samson finally stood face to face with the reality of himself. And I want to tell someone in the room this morning, your flaws don't disqualify you. Only you and God know where you've been. Only you and God know what you've done. Only you and God know what you've said. But I want to tell you this morning, your flaws do not disqualify you from the love and calling of God. In spite of me, God has called me. And I'm telling you, He will equip you even in this. He's going to equip you through this. The moment has come that I'm not a crowd pleaser, but I'm going to be the one who's going to crowd a room simply by saying, God, more of you and less of me. I want to tell you this morning, God's going to use the mess in your life if you let Him.